You are on the rant couch where I rant about whatever my $15 a month plus patrons want me to rant about. You can get one of these by being one of those. This one's for Icy Wiener, who says, "Can you rant about cigarettes, please? Is the enjoyment worth the health problems, etc.? Who is the coolest smoker in film? I don't know." No, it is not. Don't get into cigarettes. It's not worth it. Yes, you look cool. It has certain things that are fun about it, but it's not worth it, especially if you end up getting addicted and you don't want that. Like, for me, getting into cigarettes, part of it was, yes, I think it looks cool as shit. You know, just observing characters who smoke. I wrote a post once called, like, at 13, anime made me do Taekwondo, and at 17, it makes me want to smoke. About particularly Nobuo Ito from Ichigo Marshmallow and how she had developed her smoking habit, as explained in the manga. I wrote this on my Nobuo Maniacs blog. But, you know, when I started smoking, initially it was just like occasional. It's like I'd have a cigarette here or there, never more than one in the same day. I mostly took it up when my mom had cancer and was in the hospital, and I would smoke out of my bathroom window. I just like take cigarettes from my dad. Eventually, started buying my own, but you know, it was like it was just a way to like sort of get a breath of fresh air, to step outside. You know, it can help you deal with stress. Like the times when I'm the most crave cigarettes is when I'm stressed out, because it kind of, it doesn't even like alleviate the stress. It just like levels you out or gives you something to do, or I don't know. I don't know what exactly it does, but like, you know, back when I used to go on like nightly night walks by myself, I'd usually start off by smoking a cigarette, you know, and then maybe I'd have another one on the way home, and that would be when I realized I was starting to develop more of a problem. Like, I was very careful for years about, like, trying not to smoke more than once or twice in the same day. And there were times where it would pick up a little harder, and I'd get worried about it, and I'd cut down, and, like, you know, times where I would just quit for a while and then get back into it. But the time when I started smoking the most was when Ben Saint moved in with me, because he mostly was vaping at the time, but he used to smoke. And when he moved down to Virginia, cigarettes are very cheap here, unlike in the North, which is ironic because I've quit since coming here, and I was smoking way more before I came back down. I keep forgetting. Like, I literally will forget that I have been a smoker at various points. But, like, you know, when me and Ben would hang out, we would just go in the backyard and have cigarettes together, and, you know, we'd end up smoking more than one because we're standing and talking for a while, and just it's something to do. But, like, first of all, I picked up the habit of spitting when I smoke incessantly. Like, every time I take a drag, I will spit right afterwards. Um, I don't know what it is, like, because, you know, when you smoke, you get, like, a little bit of a weird taste in your mouth, and you just want it gone right away, especially once you get into the habit of doing it. Like, I wasn't even doing it at first till I saw a friend doing it, and then I just could not stop. And then, you know, me and Ben would just be out there smoking and spitting and smoking and spitting, and other people think it looks disgusting, you know? Like, even people who think smoking looks cool think spitting looks disgusting. So, you know, it's not necessarily that attractive of a habit once you get into it that way. And, once I started getting up to like 4 or 5 or 6 cigarettes a day, it was like, okay, well, now I'm just a smoker, you know? And it's a problem for a number of reasons. One, it can give you a headache very easily. Like, yes, having like one cigarette can soothe your nerves and make you feel better. And like, I still do occasionally, like, you know, like if I'm with friends or something, if I'm in a situation where cigarettes are nearby, especially when you're drunk, oh my god, having cigarettes when you're drunk is great, you know. And if I could trust myself to not smoke through the whole pack, I would have a pack around just to have cigarettes when I'm drunk. But I know better. I know I can't get away with that. You know, I know it's not a good idea because I will smoke them all. But yeah, like, it feels great when you're drunk, but if you smoke like too often or too close together, it can give you like a weird feeling in your brain, and that takes forever to go away. You just feel like your head's full of smoke. You get hot, you know, when you come back indoors. Just generally, like, it can have negative effects. Like, you can smoke a cigarette and feel worse afterwards. Like, feel like the only thing you sated was your desire to have a cigarette, which will just continually go on and on, you know. And it gets to a point where you're just smoking because you're addicted and you can't not. And it's not really that it's doing anything for you. It's not that it's fun or taking the edge off. You're just doing it because you crave it, and you have like a constant signal in your brain telling you like, okay, it's been 2 hours, you need to smoke now because your brain's no longer in the state that it was last time. So yeah, I would say it's something that if you can manage to not smoke that often, I don't think it would be that bad. But you're constantly going to be fighting that battle because it is an addictive substance. It is trying to get you to smoke more of it, so you will buy more packs. Um, I would almost encourage more so than smoking. Just like if you're in a situation where you're drinking with friends or you're hanging out, just buy a couple of cigarillos or something. Get a pack of blacks and smoke it between you, or some black and milds or something like that. Like just don't have a pack of cigarettes around. Just occasionally smoke a cigarillo or just like one cigarette together, maybe two, on a night when you're drunk, and then throw the packs away. I think Dick Masterson said something about that him and his friend life coach would get drunk and go on a walk. They'd end up buying packs of cigarettes so they could smoke together, and then he would just leave them somewhere in his house for somebody else. Like, whenever a smoker comes around, he'll give them the pack kind of thing. And that makes sense, though, if I had it around, I would end up just smoking it all, probably. I have done that, actually, a couple times, just giving away whatever cigarettes I had left to somebody because I'm like, I need to quit. Um, yeah, overall, it's not the best. I was smoking when I first moved in here pretty regularly, and I would have to go outside, like, every so often, and there's just a lot of fucking bugs out in my in my back porch. And it was just like, oh man, I'm sick of coming out here and fucking looking at all these giant spiders and roaches and shit, and having to come out, abandon everything I'm doing to go have a smoke, spend money on this when I don't really need to be spending that kind of money, and for what? Like, what am I really getting out of it? It's not worth it. So, currently I am in a state of having quit. Occasionally I find myself wanting a cigarette, particularly if I've been drinking. Again, I think the better method would just be like, hey, walk yourself to the 7-Eleven if you have one nearby, get a cigarillo, smoke it, on the way home, you'll be fine. But, like, having them around, too dangerous, not worth it. Weed is way better. Weed really is what got me out of smoking cigarettes in a big way. Like, being able to smoke pot, which is so much better. Like, the effects are better. It's not nearly as bad for your health. It's not addictive. Although, if you're me, then you will end up smoking it like you're addicted. But, I just think it's unfortunately way more expensive where I live. But, it's a better way to go about things.